You don't need new habits, you just need a system. There's no point, even if you had R1,000,000, if you don't have a system of where your money goes, you are still going to be broke. So let's start this off with a story. This is one of the bad financial decisions that I've made. I'm in Paycheck. I have just finished and I'm like, I want to start gymming. So a friend and I, we go to this gym, we sign up, and I've got a gym membership with this gym. Now this gym was far from where I stayed, and it wasn't in a walking distance, so I had to travel quite a bit to get to the gym. So it meant that I couldn't go there as much as I wanted to. Now I meant to start university the following year, and then I'm like, where my institution is, there isn't, like, this gym doesn't have a branch there. So that means that now I would have to, if my school is this way, the gym is on the other side, I'll have to come back home tired and then still travel to the gym. Like, the logistics just didn't make sense. And not only was that the problem, I signed a 12-month contract. I signed a contract, and now I'm like, I'm done. Like, this was a bad decision. They're taking money from my account every month. I'm not even going to the gym because it's far. So I'm like, let me go and cancel the contract. I go to cancel the contract, and they're like, okay, you need to pay the equivalent of like 6 months, because the membership was like around, let's say it was 200 rand. I ended up paying about 2,000 just to cancel the contract. Yeah. So don't tie yourself down by a contract unless you know that you got a steady stream of income and you know what you're doing. I wouldn't suggest taking out a loan to buy a phone, especially if you don't have a steady stream of income. Rather save up and you buy it cash, because you don't know what's going to happen in 3 months or in 6 months. Are you still going to have that source of income? Are you still going to have that job? Are you still going to have that? You don't know what's going to happen. Don't tie yourself down unless you are extremely sure and like there's no other way to go, and you've got your emergency fund set up such that if anything were to happen, you're covered. Don't do it. Take it from me, I've learned my lesson. If you do want to have a contract, make it like in short periods. Instead of doing the 1 year, go for like a 3 months or 6 months, and then you test it out and see, does it fit with your lifestyle? Are you able to make payments on time? Are you able to keep up with this? I ended up spending, I think, 3 times more than what I had said I was going to spend. This all started with little habits that I started doing with my money. So as it stands right now, I have 2 businesses that I own, that I run. And what I would do is that every time that I got money from those businesses, that I portioned it out. So before I even got the money, I started budgeting. I know. But trust me, whenever I wanted to go out for shopping, whenever I was taking myself out on dates or whatever it is, I would always carry cash. Because if I know that I've only budgeted to spend 700 rand, I would leave my card at home and I'd carry cash. And then when I'm at the restaurant or wherever, even though I am tempted to overspend, I can't, because I only really have 700 rand cash with me. Something that is not spoken about enough is that when you take your money, pay your tithe first. Paying tithe first is ultimately taking your money, and if you're like, I'm not Christian, I'm not religious, but I'm taking my money and I'm donating it to charity, I'm giving away, or I've got a fund where I'm going to dedicate and help people that I meet. So if I come across, if they need help, financial help, I'm gonna dip into that fund. So it's like 10% of what I have, and I did that. And essentially it taught me the spirit of giving. I know it's kind of counterintuitive to everything that I'm saying. But paying your tithe first is really, it's a good habit to form, because at the end of the day, you are being generous with your money and you don't have that stinginess. Yeah, having multiple bank accounts, if you can do this, because I know a lot of people cannot do this, but if you can open one bank account, you can, I think it's best that you open more than one. Because what I would do is that I would have my one bank account where all of my money comes in, and because I've budgeted beforehand, I would say, okay, from that money that comes in, I am going to save, let's say my one bank account is for all of my, I actually used to do this. So because I've budgeted beforehand, I would say, okay, now I am, because keep in mind that I'm a businesswoman, so I've got money that comes in from my businesses into my bank account. So I'd say from that money, the money that I get to keep and I get to use, let's say it's 2,000 rand. I would send 2,000 rand to one of my bank accounts, and then I know that in that account there is 2,000 rand. That is what I can use for whatever I'm going to use. Then in another account, I've said, okay, this is for my emergency fund. Then I would send the money for my emergency fund to that account. Now I've got separate accounts. All of my money is on one account. I cannot keep all of my money in one account. It's just, it gets messy, and then you overspend, and then it's, I prefer to have another account where I know in this account I only have this amount of money that I can use, and with that money, then whatever happens, if that money finishes, I cannot transfer more from my other accounts, because the money, gosh, too much happening. The money in the other accounts already has a purpose. Speaking of purpose, you have to give your money a purpose. You have to send your money somewhere, or else it will disappear. And what I mean by sending it somewhere is that if you don't say that this money is going to my emergency fund, or if you just have money and you just like, I just have this money, you don't know what that money is for, you don't know what that money is going towards, it is going to disappear. Real life story. A couple of weeks ago, I wanted to get a new pair of shoes, and I didn't carry cash because I didn't go to the ATM. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this amount. I'm gonna spend 800 rand. I go there and I had money in my account that I didn't really have a purpose for. Like, that money was just there. I ended up spending 3 times more than what I had said I was going to spend. So I went three times over the budget already. That's why I was like, okay, I'm falling back to my old ways. I need to go back to the drawing board, get back to my budgets. I need to get back to having a set amount and going with cash. I know a lot of people aren't really they don't feel comfortable with walking around with cash. Then if you're not comfortable with that, then you can take one of your cards and you can go and just use that, and the card that has that amount specifically that you've budgeted, whatever, then you can just go with that. And that's like a pure example of me not practicing what I preach, and how it can go south really, really, really fast. Yeah. Also, another thing that I've done is that I am still staying with my parents. My expenses are very, very, very minimum. I don't have a child. My expenses are very, very, very minimum. So what I do is that I save and invest a good percentage of my money. And if you don't know where to start, where I started a couple of months ago, is that with my bank account, I know a lot of the big banks in the country, they do this. You can open up a fixed deposit account, an account where you put money in and you can only get it out after, so you put money in, and if you want that money to come out, you must put in a notice. So if it is a 48-hour account, then you put in the notice today, and that money comes in 48 hours. If it is a 32-day account, you put in the money now, and then if you want to get out the money, you put in the notice, and then you only get the money in 32 days. But if you don't want to wait that period, then you have to pay a penalty, and a penalty is like a certain percent of the money that you want to get out. So if you're like, I need the money now, then it's like, I don't know if it's a 15 or 20%, I don't know how much it is, but it's painful and it's a lot. So if you don't know where to start, just go to your bank and ask them about fixed deposits or other accounts that you can open with them, where you just every month you are sending money into that account, and it just grows, and it grows with interest over time. That's the easiest way to start investing, because it builds up that habit. Right now, I cannot go a month without putting away my money in terms of investing, because the habit is already built. So I decided to live healthier. By living healthier, I really thought about, like, what exactly does that mean for me to live healthier? Living healthy means I am cutting back on a lot of the unhealthy food. I'm limiting I limit my fast food. I limit my cool drinks and all of that. And by me limiting, if I would spend 500 rand a month on just like junk food and eating out and whatever, now that I'm living healthy, that amount goes from 500 rand to 300. That extra 200 rand, I can put it towards my emergency fund. I can put it towards my savings and investments. You get? So that's also another big thing of how I learned to live below my means, is that I decided to cut back small. And it's a process. It's a journey. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. If you're able to save 100 rand or cut back by 100 rand, then do it. I mean, at one point I would literally pack lunch and take that to school with me to campus, so that it would prevent me from buying on campus, because child, the food on campus is really expensive. It's really funny, but the food on campus is really expensive, so I would pack my own lunch and make sure that it's something filling, so that I'm not tempted to buy. Also, I would make sure that I only had enough money for transport. So if I know that my transport is 30 rand, I would only leave the house with 30 rand, and I would leave my card at home, and I would leave any other sources like that. Like, this is just extreme, but I that that's what I did, and that's what helped me to to really save a lot, because I know that if I carry my card with me to school, I'm gonna be tempted to buy something, and then I'm gonna feel guilty about it later. So I might as well just leave the card at home. And I know there is paying with your phone. I don't like doing that. I just don't feel safe about it, so I don't do it. Yeah, I just don't. So, and lastly, if you come into money, what I mean is that if you get, let's say you are working and then you've got this gig and you have another stream of income that comes in, don't start spending that money, or rather take whatever amount that is, and then you put it towards paying off any loans that you might have, paying off any debts that you might have, saving it and investing it. So what I mean is that if you have let's say you've got all of your streams of income add up to 10,000 rand, and you just have and you now get another one that now gives you an extra 2,000. Instead of now spending that 2,000, rather invest it, rather build your emergency fund, rather save it. Like, I've learned that if you think you can't do it, you probably can do it. This tip is honestly for people that are really extreme. But if you can, let's say you're used to living off of 8,000 rand, if you take that 8,000 rand and you cut it down to 5,000 rand, you'd probably still survive. That extra 3,000 rand, you can use it to pay off your debts, your loans, start investing, building up an emergency fund. The whole like, I know it might feel like you are depriving yourself, you are not enjoying your money. But good financial habits start here, they start now. It's better for you to learn how to do that at this age than for you to be struggling now. You've got 3 kids and you still don't have good financial habits. You don't need new habits, you just need a system. There's no point, even if you had a 1 million rand, if you don't have a system of where your money goes, you are still going to be broke. That's why people that win the lotto, if you check up on them in 1 year, 2 years, they're back in the same lifestyle that them, like them before the money and them after the money. Nothing much has changed unless they're very intentional on how they spend their money, on how they invest it and everything. I say all of this with love. It's time. 2026 is just around the corner. It's about time that me and you learn better financial habits. If you like this type of content, let me know. I hope you have a beautiful day, and God loves you.